I'm Michele Goodwin, a professor of constitutional law and global health policy. In fact, I hold the O'Neill Chair in Constitutional Law and Global Health Policy at Georgetown, where I'm also the co-faculty director of our O'Neill Institute for National and Global Health Law. My book, Policing the Womb, was published in 2020. It was published 2 years before the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey in its Dobbs decision. That was the summer of 2022. And many people read the book as being incredibly prescient because in the book it talks about exactly what's on the horizon, that not only will the ability to be able to terminate a pregnancy become vulnerable, but also the criminalization of women and their conduct during pregnancy, the civil punishments, fines and penalties, incarceration. And the book weaves a way through that. In its introduction, it tells the story of Marlise Muñoz. And it makes a point of saying that, look, this is not fiction. This is not The Handmaid's Tale. This is American reality, where a woman collapses under brain death just early weeks into her pregnancy. But she's in the state of Texas. And in Texas, the state takes control of the body such that she's not even able to be let go, so to speak. Her parents, her husband, they want her off of life support. She had been an EMT, an emergency medical technician, and she did not want to be intubated and to stay on life support if she were ever to be placed in a position as she was. At any rate, for over 60 days, the state of Texas kept her hooked to machines as her skin was cold and hard, as her body rotted away, over 60 days until her parents and her husband could successfully get a court order in order for them to be given her body such that she could be buried. Why did Marlise Muñoz go through all of this? It was because she was pregnant when she had an aneurysm. And in Texas and a number of other states, when you are pregnant and you become brain dead, the state can take control of your body. Doesn't matter what you've put in a will. It doesn't matter what you've told your loved ones. That's what takes place. And so the book begins with that, and then it narrates through that, telling the stories about nurses and doctors that have become snitches, in fact, for the state, where they turn over private patient, confidential patient information to law enforcement and to prosecutors. It tells a story about what it is that we need to do to come out of this space and what has taken place in between. Women being shackled and chained to their gurneys as they are giving birth, women giving birth in prison toilets and on concrete floors. Why? Because they suffered drug addiction during their pregnancy. And unbeknownst to them, that became information leached over to prosecutors. It tells a story about what is likely to come and what is already here in terms of the policing of contraception, the policing of birth control, the policing of sex education, and all of this leading to high rates of maternal mortality, high rates of maternal morbidity, and ultimately fear. And women losing the capacity to govern their own bodies. Policing the Womb takes us through this journey, and most importantly, it makes it clear that this has been an agenda that's been taken up for some time, such that it's not necessarily new. What is new is its reach. The book talks about how Black women and women of color have essentially been the canaries in the coal mine, that in the late 1980s, 1990s, those whose bodies were being policed, those who were being charged with crimes such as child abuse, even though they were only in a few weeks of pregnancy and did not have children, that these were Black women where laws were being used in such a way to coercively impose against them. Well, now it's not just Black and brown women, it's all women who stand the risk of their pregnancies being criminally policed, civil punishments, and now with the Dobbs decision, it means that the protections that had existed before, federal protections, are now gone. Policing the Womb tells this story, and it closes with stories about sexual assault and rape in our country, because there is something that is so inhumane and undignified when you lose the ability to govern your own body. It also means that politically and legally and otherwise, there are other ways in which your dignity is trampled, and that includes within the space of sexual assault, when you have no means to be able to defend yourself against individuals or against the state that sees you as just a euphemistic football in some ways in a sport. And that's sadly where much of reproductive health, rights, and justice happens to be in the United States.